Hey, you will make it TV followers, viewers, supporters, and listeners across the world. Thank you for tuning in to another live segment here with You Will Make It TV family, where we share inspirational quotes, divine messages, and insightful topics weekly. If you're new to our channel, welcome 1,000 times. We're happy to have you here. Please remember to hit that golden subscribe bell once again so that you the loop and you begin to receive notifications every time You Will Make Your TV goes live or if we post new content. After this short pause break, we will be back to so I can get into my commentary and reaction about this most recent museum heist that's trending news right now. Because this is just crazy. Like, EBT haven't even all the way been cut, but this story was on the news. How people were able to scandal their ways inside of a museum and steal very rare and expensive artifacts. What do y'all think they're finna go do with that jewelry piece? I saw that it said that if they try to have it broken down, like the pieces and the diamonds and stuff, if they try to have it broken down, it's gonna be worth less, if that makes sense. Not worth less altogether, but worth less. Uh, and I wonder if the thieves knew that. I'm sure they don't care. Whatever they're finna make off of that jewelry, uh, it's just crazy. Like, this the type of stuff you see on movies. It reminded me of that one movie where I forgot the name of it. They did the same thing, going in museums trying to steal ancient artifacts and stuff. Or have people lost their everlasting minds? There's no respect anymore, bro. If you usually you see people rob regular stores and retailers or even just people. But now even bigger establishments and places like this are not even off limits. And it's just scary. Once again, you want to shed the spotlight on the people that are losing EBT, but it's people already breaking into museums, stealing rare ancient artifacts before the EBT was cut. While people trying to threaten the people talking about, well, there'll be military soldiers and National Guard to make sure that you guys aren't outside stealing. And that, okay, so where were they when these people were doing this museum heist? This museum theft? So that's pretty much some of the questions people have when it comes to this trending topic right now, this trending news. Where was security? So that's the thing. Somebody actually did spot these workers. You know those cranes that help you go top floor to top ceiling from outside. Those construction machines that they use and stuff. It was something like that. Somebody saw some workers going up to a floor with those cranes that had no business going up there. People just think people don't be watching them because they go put on some undercover clothes. So that's something else to pay attention to me and to society. You know what I'm saying? It's just like That's what ended up coming out about this story. They were people dressed up as workers. They were regular citizens, but they weren't necessarily employees of the museum. I didn't understand that these people were just dressed up as workers, and that can happen anywhere. These people were dressed up as workers, as like they worked there, and that was the people that stole the jewelry, the crown, and everything. I think that is so crazy how on many different levels of people with money it's been shown lately that it doesn't matter how much money you got or what level you're on. People are finding more creative ways to hack and invade and storm through your finances. No wonder they have to cut off EBT and everything. This is dangerous as hell. You got people dressing up, invading museum spaces where there's ancient artifact, which with that, while people was talking about, oh, there's going to be people looting stores and stealing more, I already kind of had probably, I had predicted that too, because it makes sense. Why would people just go to stores and stuff? It's the time of more knowledge than ever. People know how much that stuff in a museum is worth. And it's sad you can't go to the museum no more without a person staring at something deep inside, wondering to themselves how they can take it home. What kind of world are we living in? You think they're reading the ancient history artifacts about royalty pieces, and they sitting here putting together a whole plan of how to steal the pieces out the museum. It shows you people's respect for history right there. If they don't show the respect for history, bro, even if you feel like that part of history, wherever the crown pieces and jewels came from, have nothing to do with you, it was a part of somebody's history. That's another thing. I hate to bring this up right now, but did y'all know that when you go look at a lot of old Egyptian pictures and statues and stuff, all the diamonds are missing. You can tell that there was a time in history where Egyptians were robbed or something. But now this makes headline news. If you're gonna make this make headline news, somebody stole a museum artifact. Let's talk about all the other artifacts that have been stolen over the generations from bodies of people, from generations of people, literally. Even I tried to ignore it a little bit, but lately when I go look at Egyptian artifacts, just reading into history and looking at Egyptian history pictures and stuff, it's always a chopped off nose, something wrong with the statue. I understand things not looking as perfect as they did once upon a time because of how old it is. But these jewelry pieces were shining and glistening and gleaming. Why? Because they had it on display at a museum. When stuff is on display there, that's a part of what they do is keep the displays clean and what's the word I'm looking for? Presentable for people that come and look at it. But I just think that's crazy. People still go look at Egyptian artifacts and you want us to just look at it. Yeah. Okay, I still wonder, like, why is the noses missing? Why are some of the pieces of jewels missing out of the people's crowns and stuff on the statues? You can, like, sometimes it's a whole missing spot where it's just a hole or a circle where you can tell a diamond piece or some expensive ruby once sat there. You can tell when something has been robbed, is my point. The main sign of robbery is usually some type of loss. Something looks missing. No matter how long it takes you to discover something's missing, that's usually the main sign that something's missing. If something goes missing. And they steady trying to show these Egyptian statues with missing noses, missing jewel pieces all over them. Now, I was wondering, I'm not the first person to ever speak on it, but people are tired of seeing it. How about you tell us where the diamonds went on those Egyptian pieces, not just these pieces that went missing out of the museum. There's been missing pieces to artifacts for a long time now, especially with Egyptian history. Because even if you go look at the statues now, some of these statues that they done dug up, why are there missing diamonds and golden pieces missing out of the statues? I'm not finna play with the media right now, bro, because now you want to report when other things are being stolen out of the museum. I hope this is not some form of karma, because and all places might be about to feel it. It's okay for countries to behind the scenes steal from the people and spend their money and use it on what they want to and steal ancient artifacts from the people. But let the people steal an ancient artifact, it's all over the news. A regular citizen, if they do that, it's all over the news. And I know that the people that stole those artifact pieces of jewelry couldn't have been black, because if it was a black person, they would still be on the hunt to find that person. Make it like it's absolutely urgent to go find them. If the people that stole that crown and jewels were black, boy, they'll be on the most wanted list right now. Not saying that whoever the suspects are aren't, or that they didn't catch them, or that they don't plan to apprehend them. But I know for sure if the cameras had shown that the suspects were black, I mean, I just feel like it would be a worse situation. Why? Because they wouldn't want a black person. They wouldn't want anybody stealing ancient artifacts, but they wouldn't want a black person trying to go cash in on a crown and some earrings and some ancient historical artifacts like that. It's crazy. I just think that is so unfair to try to make people be quiet when they have questions about the pieces that are missing on Egyptian artifacts. But when something go missing out of a museum, it makes world news. This should be world news too. Why are all the noses chopped off of the Egyptian statues from history? Literally. I'm tired of seeing it. That's why people like, you should look into Egyptian stuff with us. No, because it makes me angry when I look at it. It's telling a story that people don't want to talk about. Now that's cool. I can maybe go look into Egyptian hieroglyphics and other things that have to do with Egyptian history, like Moses or something. But if you want me to just look at the statues, the last time I researched Egyptian tombs and pyramids, it made me mad. Because there's no time that I've ever started a little minor search of Egyptian history and I don't see the same thing. It's all kind of chipped pieces of jewels and missing pieces off of those statues, as if people dug it up. You can just tell there was a time people definitely dug into African history, Egyptian history, and they stole that stuff, man. So yeah, the question is, where is the stuff today? They don't want to go investigate that, but we have all these resources to investigate the people who some of that those royal pieces belong to. They probably, some of their living offsprings are walking around here today. That's my point. Some people would never, ever, ever, and this is unfortunate to talk about, even find out if they were connected to wealth. Because that's what this war about is out here. Those that are with the awakening, they want to know who they are, where they come from, what they might be tied to. Not that people should only care about that when it comes to bloodline, but it does have a lot to do with that. There's going to be a lot of riches and stuff tied to your name sometimes. That's what it seems like this is about. You trying to keep people dumbed down so they don't know, because they know if you get too far into learning who you are, you're going to learn you're owed money. That's why this EBT cuts and all that stupid stuff they're talking about is irrelevant. Nobody would have needed EBT if nobody was stealing anybody's bloodline money. That's stupid. How many bloodlines have literally been robbed? I wonder. I'm talking about before the invention of EBT. How many bloodlines and families had been robbed, period. I read about like towns and cities that had built themselves independently, and they still got burned down. So stop telling people to go to work and they not trying to be successful. We're looking at something here. There was people that came together and built whole towns and cities and businesses and banks, and they were black and they just burned it down, or they come do something to sabotage it. And this is all over American history. So we're not too confused. History just repeats itself. You find more creative ways to keep this specific group of people from advancing. You want everything else to advance, even computers, but black people. That makes no sense. Because like I said, when I seen that on the news, I said, how dare they make that world news? But you still see Egyptian artifacts today with missing noses and missing jewel pieces. And it's a whole space right there where you can tell it was gold or jewels on it, but the jewels of the artifacts are missing. They might tell a story like, well, we put them up in a museum. Nobody asked you to put anybody's ancient artifacts in a museum in the first place. I'm starting to think some of these artifacts people gonna learn, because they got so greedy, but they're gonna learn that a lot of people did rituals and prayers and stuff over their jewels and crowns. Let people keep stealing. They gonna learn. Like, you thought you just stealing and it's tangible money and jewels and crowns and stuff. People do rituals and prayers and stuff over their belongings before they die too. A lot of cultures did do that. Why would you think they come from a lineage of money and they didn't pray or do some kind of rituals over their wealth in case people try to steal it one day? And at first I didn't understand. Thank you, Dream. First I didn't understand why people might have did that, but older now, and it makes a lot of sense. If you had more people doing that, literally blessing and praying over their material things, and not just obtaining these material things to look like something to people, actually taking the time to pray and bless and anoint and whatever kind of ritual you call it, to make sure that your possessions are safe. And I guess that's what it's finna come down to, because the people that do that, you don't need guns and armies and stuff to protect your wealth. Because now you've tapped into the spiritual side and you said, well, I'm just going to pray over my belongings, and if anybody try to rob it, then they get spiritual repercussions. You can't tell people to do with their wealth. They started this war where it's like, we just want to steal people's wealth, thinking this is not going to be spiritual, when people prayed over their possessions back then, because they knew that there's people that try to come in and overtake their riches. Even what happened with the quote-unquote slave trade and all that, it doesn't matter what they stole. Some of them people's riches and wealth, like I said, was blessed and prayed over, and rituals were done over. Even if to us it looks like centuries later and, oh, we never got our wealth back. Let time continue to tell, because you don't just invade somebody's space and steal their riches. But they don't want to talk about that, and none of them getting locked up for that. But it's still going on today. Just because you do it in a technology way, you hack bank accounts and steal money, they doing the same thing. It's looking like, to me, civilizations were just created through people robbing each other. That's what it looks like to me. In other nations, they didn't have to rob nobody. They build from the ground up. All this stuff is telling a story, because history just repeats itself. That's all they do. Thank you. Here. Hey, I want you to stop screaming in the house. We know you're here. Give me those back. Are those mine? Thank you. I'm just saying. Oh, no. Stuff is still drying, baby. I am trying to wash.
Okay.
It's just sad. But anyways, it's in everybody's face now. Yes, riches and wealth and ancient artifacts have been robbed and stolen from people since the beginning of time. People have covetedness, envious, because I don't think people always steal because they need it, right? People talking about how people gonna be stealing when EBT get cut off. As y'all see, this ancient artifact was stolen out of the museum before EBTs were cut off. But EBT being cut off don't take away from the fact. It's like, how do you explain this? Because to me, people be just calling judgment and karma on themselves sometimes through the stuff that they do. You yourself trying to oppress a person over and over and over and over again, and then you want to be shocked when that last time you try to oppress them, a judgment comes for you. Because who told you that was right? Who told you that was the way to build your life? You got mad because you saw people go ahead and settle for food stamps and try to keep the peace. But yeah, settling for food stamps wouldn't put you in a position to go research where you might have came from and how you might be tied to wealth. But if you cut it off, that's why I said I feel like you're forcing people to stand up for their rights. Maybe Donald Trump know what he's doing. You are. And I don't mean in a way where you're saying, hey, our rights is to have food stamps. No, your rights as to knowing your history, as to knowing who you are and where you come from. Ever since there's been an increase, because like websites like Ancestry.com, we didn't create that stuff, but whoever created it, they turned around and got mad because a lot of people actually started using Ancestry.com and all these DNA research apps and stuff. It's like they got mad about people using it. Look at all the changes that have begun to happen once people started going on a more mass search about who they were. And I heard they make you pay for some of those apps just to kind of find your heritage and find out where you come from. They make you pay for it. And then others say that it's a flat out scam. Because I've never really used it yet. I probably used a free trial before, but everybody knows with the free trial, it's not going to give you your full-blown family tree. With the free trial, it's going to just show you information you already know, which is probably who your immediate family is. It's not going to go way back into the 1800s and 1600s. You have to pay for that if you wanted to go that far in your history. But to me, that's my opinion. I'm just giving my commentary and reaction. Like, clearly there's people out there, this is not about racism, or it becomes that. It puts it in people's face and remind them how a certain people got to the position that they are today, but it doesn't mean that God had it in his plan for them people to stay in that same position. Even the Bible say God gonna bring his people out of a curse that he called upon his own people. It says that he was gonna do it one day. I don't care how you continue to try to curse that people. And it proves that you're doing it. It just proves that you're doing it. I've been seeing it through the narratives they try to spin about this same group of people today in modern day time. You still want people to think they're lazy, they're fighting, they're full of crime. They don't want to advance in society when that's just not true. A lot of us have plenty of evidence of things we've been doing right here in this country that we thought we were doing under the same equality rights to make better lives for ourselves. But the same thing is going on. You still trying to invade people's privacy. You know what that leads to? Invading their finances, invading their income, invading their wealth. That's why people feel like you coming after their privacy is exactly what you're doing, because you're coming after their wealth. That's what wealthy people go through. You got people always surrounding you trying to see how they can get a way in to your finance, to your wealth, so it can be theirs. Just for those that were wondering, well, how did the condition and state of black people become what it is today? Just look at today. It's a repeat pattern effect over and over again. And it's so weird. I guess that's what the gay... See, I didn't know about all of it. I didn't know about none of this stuff. I just thought the country was an equal opportunity place. If you were a person that woke up and decided you wanted to get rich one day, you go get rich and go live your life. But it's really not that simple. You got quote unquote gatekeepers that, you trying to make money? Why we don't know about you? Because I didn't know I have to answer to you for my equal rights, for my freedoms. You know, if I want to become a wealthy woman, I didn't know I had to talk to anybody about that. Unless it's banks or investors or people that can help me do that. Other than that, that wouldn't be anybody else's business. Once again, for those looking for the facts of the about the story on the news, that's you go look at that on the news. That's not what my channel is here to cover tonight. It's more about my reaction and commentary to the news. Ancient artifacts being stolen. I know it has. It's probably pieces of history artifacts we'll never know about because it's somewhere in somebody else's chambers, locked away for their leisure and their pleasure. You see what I'm saying? Don't just showcase one piece of ancient artifacts that's been stolen. These artifacts been being stolen. And what's crazy, some people's bloodlines are actually directly connected to some of these riches and wealth out here. What better time to look at it? You're not going to be getting assistance from the government anymore. Well, the government needs to go ahead and release the truth about people's wealth and riches then. They would say it's more of our responsibility, but you stay in people way trying to keep them blocked with your benefits all these years so they don't see where their wealth come from. Their true inherited wealth. It's so sick. Anything that you inherit, come on, bro. Like, you're definitely entitled to that, equal opportunity or not. I love how they exchanged people's generational bloodline wealth with people think their taxes was paying for EBT and stuff. You'll be surprised who's been paying for this country, who's been helping to fund this country, which is probably some of us that who still don't know that we're wealthy. Don't you dare sit back and say it's the taxpayers that's providing for everybody when slaves whole built this country, right? And they weren't paid a dime. But now we should think about the rights of the taxpayers. That makes no sense. They literally want people to have more compassion about the taxpayers than the slaves who didn't get paid at all. Come on, bro. You're not a slave if you're getting a paycheck. I don't care how much you're trying to compare it to slavery. You're not going through what the slaves went through. Just because you're working 12 hours a day. As long as you're working 12 hours a day and you're making money, you're still not touching what a slave went through. How they, not only did they work for absolutely free, their own wealth was stolen from them. I don't want to talk about it either, but God won't let me forget about it. God won't let me forget my history. God won't let me forget the background wealth that was tied to our history, though they don't want to talk about it. It makes me think about it when you say, well, this is not fair to the taxpayers. We're paying for this and that. We're funding everything. Dream Ariana, why are you screaming around this house? That is crazy. Stop.
Sorry.
Okay, stop screaming in here. Get this flashlight. Play with the flashlight. Come down here and watch SpongeBob. Let's go. That's another thing. That's another thing. People will come over here talking about they deserve freedoms and rights and they deserve to get a visa just to come over here and look down on the American people. I was so tired of seeing it. I'm not trying to be funny, but these are the facts. People will come over here as foreigners, whole tooting their nose up. They already come with that attitude, snorting and twisting their nose up. We already deal with the discrimination and whatever we deal with the American people over here. But then you have foreigners come over here, and they already look down on you. I think it's jealousy, because how you gonna come over here for a better opportunity, but come over here hating on the people that were already getting the deserved, earned, you know what I'm saying, rights that they have today. Here, women had to march for their rights. While they come over here being envious of how the women live, it didn't just transpire to this overnight. Women had to march for their rights in this country. Black people had to march for their rights in this country. You never sit back and try to twist the narrative and say, well, now they're going to be struggling. They're going to be the first one struggling with EBT cut off. You don't even know American history like that. But you'll be surprised, a lot of foreigners do. They do. And they still snarl their noses up and twitch their necks up at black people. And I think it's weird. Not just black people, but I feel like they put us all in a category like, oh, American women. And call themselves envious. And, you know, it's like they try to paint this picture like we deserve the American spot. Just be careful what you wish for. Because if you over here desiring the American spot so bad that you're doing things to step on the American people so you can come over here and take her over their country. They hurry up and send an irritation spell when I said that. I said what I said. Y'all come over here jealous of the American people when you were supposed to be coming over here trying to get the same equal opportunities we get. That makes no sense. And then think somebody doing you wrong when they send you back home. They probably sending people home because they have shown that too. Their mindsets. They've shown their mindsets. How you gonna? That's like, you think another country gonna let the American people come over there and just start dictating their culture, how they do things, how they make their money, what their rules and stuff is in their land? No, they're not. They're not gonna let an American come over there and just switch how they do things. I just don't understand it. Did I say all foreigners do that? No, I did not. And I'm not talking about any other country. Any other country, people go tour for tourism or just to go live there. You don't see people go over there and literally get jealous of the people in their land. You don't see that happen to nobody but black people. Like, people came over here scouting them out. Their women, their daughters. We're going through it again, guys. That's what it seemed like to me. We're going through it all over again. People coming over here watching what black people got going on, because it's not just the American people that are looking at that. Just so people know, If you thought you was the only American sitting back pocket watching a black person, you're wrong. There's foreigners doing it too, for whatever reason. And that's why I said this is starting to look too close to like a time that actually oppressed black people before. It's starting to look too similar. But this time you have foreigners doing it too, not just American people. So to me it's worse. Right? And it matters to speak up about it now. Okay. Then we see what all transpires. Why do I keep mentioning black people? They're one of the main top prevalent people known, prominent people known to come from wealth. They'll mention everything else about black people but that. You'll complain about the state they're in after you broke them all the way down, after you broke up the households, after you systemized them. Now you want to complain about the state that they're in. It makes no sense. To me, there's no reason to talk about the state they're in if you're returning people's riches and wealth back to them that they never asked to be. Because, you know, if you steal something, you didn't ask for that to happen to you. They create all kind of ways to justify it. Well, you weren't paying attention. Well, we feel like you didn't deserve your wealth. Well, we was hungry, so we took your wealth. We were trying to build a country. That's why I'm asking again, what do they mean? What do they mean when they say make America great again? Because a lot of people did have to stand up. Even when it was great, they had to stand up for the rights that they have today. And maybe that's what the government is saying. We feel like y'all modern people of today should more fight for your rights. Because the people that's already gone, they did. They fought for, trust me, they fought for their rights. They fought for, and they earned. That's the difference I see between yesterday and today when I'm talking history. Because, like, back then, people earned each and every right. And that's what a lot of people feel like happened to this generation. They stopped earning their keep. We're not saying, guys, that, because I don't like to sound like everybody else calling the new generation lazy. That's not what I mean. But when we talk about rights, rights, and earning those, that's a whole separate topic. With anybody, literally earning rights, not just being born into rights, not just being born into laws, but you know, earning what the world becomes in the future. And looking at our lives individually, people say they doing it, but I don't know where they miss it at. There's a lot of people out here, to me, they weren't just born into the laws and rights. They actually prove and show every day that they've earned where they stand. I wouldn't care if 10,000 people feel like you sleep too much. You might have earned to sleep like that, but they ain't found out yet what they mean. Wealth is not just money. People said the new wealth is going to be food because they're cutting EBT off and more people are going to have to invest in food. They said a man coming through the door with groceries is going to be the new luxury. I've been seeing all kind of jokes floating around out there, man. I mean, and I love this generation because that's one thing we can do. Because sometimes you got to laugh and keep from crying or feeling any other emotion about it. We rather laugh first. You're not finna keep making oppression attempts on people. Make your attempts, but that I've been called that out. People act like they want to control your whole reaction. So it adds up to their narrative or their lie they already told. They be hoping to God you act like what they told people you was. Cause you already know they're gonna put it in the darkest light possible, right? How can dark be light? But I'm just saying, they're gonna put it in the darkest. They're gonna tell it the story as bad as possible. Cause to some people, they're not true storytellers like us at heart. The worse the story is, the more drama in the story, they think it's a better story. People still love suspense, thriller, mystery. Drama is not the only thing that comes with a story. There might be mystery, there might be suspense, there might be a comedy. There are other things that make a great story, but people put a whole bunch of mess in a bucket and say, "Here you go, here's our story." It's like you can tell when people do that. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm an author. You can tell when a person intentionally writes a drama. It was intended to be dramatic. It was intended to look ultimately 10 times worse than it is. That's just how some things are in life. We understand it with dramas. If it's any other kind of genre, though, it wouldn't be a drama. Or any other type of story, it wouldn't be a dramatic story. Okay? So you can tell the stories and narratives that are like that, too. And one thing I always wondered about stories, especially if it's a true story, okay, well, how did this story change the people? Once again, I feel like everything in the world happened for a reason, even if it's something that didn't happen to us directly. Everything is happening for a reason. We all get opportunities every day to get whole like signs and messages, like stories be trying to tell us something, even if it's somebody else's story. They live for the moment, so it's that person. Next thing they know, it's 20 of them going through the same thing. Was that confirmation? It's 20 of them going through the same thing that person was just going through. Now that person seemingly coming out of their dark night and 25 more people walking into a dark night. But they wasted their time. The Bible talks about that. The 5 wise virgins and the 5 foolish. People look at the story. That's what I'm talking about with stories. It's how you perceive it and how the story is told too. It can teach you something. The 5 wise and the 5 foolish. Them 5 foolish was too busy worried about what everybody else doing. The 5 wise is too busy trying to save and preserve and collect what they can on the side so that they are actually prepared for whatever, when they need to use their oil. It's the same thing with life. If you pouring all your reaction in one area, you literally giving that one area of drama of your life all the energy you got. You ain't gonna have energy for nothing else. So yeah, you're gonna have to not only learn to preserve food, money, gas, so you can travel in your car. You're gonna have to learn to preserve your energy too. Any one of us. It's just crazy how I was inspired to come talk about this topic because it is really crazy. Like, how can you try to steal out of a museum? Do you know how much time in prison you're gonna get if they catch you? When they do. Because I feel like that's suspicious too if you can't find the person. Or you can't. Probably by the time they find them, they probably been done already scraped it down. Because some valuables, that's how valuable they are. You don't want to get it. You don't want to get that piece of jewelry broken down. It's worth more together, like a whole necklace. If you break it down and crush it up just to get the diamonds out of it, that's what they was trying to say on the news. It's going to be worth less. You're not going to get as much money as if it, and then if you turn it in just like it is, they're going to know you stole it. What you mean? So I don't know how far they thought they was getting with that, or who they stole it for, what they doing out here, man. But it was a very nice piece. Did y'all see the picture? It's a very nice crown and earring. It's a real pretty blue color. If I was looking correctly, like a teal ocean. It's just a really beautiful piece, and it had diamonds all over it. I'm like, people out here tripping, man, putting whole sitting back. So it do show you how far a person's mind will go too. A lot of crimes show you that. And they want people to like, oh, y'all need to be careful out here now. It's a little bit more than be careful. Some people, everybody on the road to different goals. That's another thing. People might get upset at you for not being willing to tell them, you know what I'm saying, your specific goals. Of course you would explain your goals if it's for something like a business plan, or you trying to get some bank financing to help with your business, something like that. But other than that, or it's just some type of business you might be doing that involves a contract, you might have to talk about your goals while you're trying to apply for what you're trying to apply for. Other than that, you don't have to tell people your goals at any given time. Yeah, try to use that tricky word, goals. Goals is still your personal business. I don't care how you look at it. If you're the one that's going to have to be putting the work in to reach that goal, that's that person's personal business. If your goal is what somebody else set for you, is that really your goal? Questions like that. GOAL. Are you really striving for your goals, no matter what it takes, no matter what you got to go through? Ooh, everybody goals are different. Everybody gonna agree it's that person putting in the time and work. They be like, if a person wants something done, you got to do it yourself. Why you think they say that quote? Especially when it comes to goals. When they're your own, people expect you to put your own work into your goals, but they be wanting to be in your business about your goals. But won't take accountability that could be a whole blockage in somebody's way. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Sit there and watch a person while they reach their goals. A lot of people have too, and they've become successful. But just imagine having millions, billions of people watching you do it. Every time you fall, you can't miss. Somebody saw it. Don't even trip a little bit type of deal. But should a person like this still not have goals? That's what I'm saying with the wealthy and people like that. It don't always mean you're in the headlines. Some people is wealthy, you barely see them in the news. Some of them, they been popping out lately. You like, oh, we forgot about that person. That person still been out. You know, they was a star at one point. They'll always be a star, but they don't just be out. They probably still live lives. Not all in the paparazzi and headlines like that. Because look at this museum story. That ain't even got nothing. I was just talking about the wealthy though. Like that obviously came from somewhere when it was in a museum. It's like how you just gonna take the people that still living out here might be tied to some of these ancient artifacts through bloodline. Do they know? Is it their personal? You know what I'm saying? Is it their personal responsibility to find out, or do we just look at these artifacts in a museum and say, "Oh, how pretty," and read whatever it tell us? Ask, where do stuff come from? Whose crown was this? What royalty? What side of the world did they come from? And then, yeah, it is more modern day where people can research their family histories if they want to. Their background, where they come from, if they want to. Some people end up doing that, and they found other family members too. There's stories out there already on YouTube. I used to like that movie Antoine Fisher. It's a great recommendation if you've never seen it, but most people have. where he's raised with a foster family, but he still becomes like a high ranking Navy sailor later on in life. Like he's in the army, he's serving his country. But he might not have grew up in the best just childhood. So he had a mental health therapist who helped him along the way, even through his career. So no, a job is not the only one pitch stop, if you ask me, towards wealth. When you got people that actually have to see therapists while they have a job. What do you mean? Some people, and it wasn't a job. It wasn't the job. It was just sometimes maybe he still had things from his childhood that bothered him. Cause you know if you go against certain rules in the army and stuff, no, you can still get penalized. He's trying to help him stay on a healthy road, a healthy course, stay stable, make sure his job is as workable as possible so he can get through his term while he's there. It's a great movie recommendation. It's called Antoine Fisher. And y'all will see what I'm talking about. Okay? People should know where they come from and stuff like that. They end up helping that man before he had his first child. He needed to know more about his own self. He did end up meeting a love life, a wife, and everything that helped him along his journey. And maybe that was meant for them in that movie. Because at least he waited to have his own child till he knew more about his own family and more where he came from. And it wasn't about the wealth. It was for his emotional, mental health being. Maybe he thought they had nothing to do with it at all until his therapist helped to point that out to him. Like, you seem to have a lot of things to talk about when it comes to your childhood. Then later you might put together a plan. What can we do to help you? Not saying therapists be out here helping people find their families, but we never know how they help people. They might encourage them to look on their own if it bothered them that much. Because they can't be getting in the way of you trying to work and reach goals. And it's not just about families taking care of each other out here too. It's people taking care of themselves first. Have we noticed that? The more convenient it's gotten in the world, the more people do depend on each other more, in my opinion, these days. Because you have more convenient apps, money apps and everything. People just kind of do expect more. They just expect everything to be more convenient these days. Everything's more convenient. I said a mouthful tonight when it comes to my reaction, like how I really be feeling about stuff in the world. Like, where you come from is not just always about wealth. I hope people are not thinking that way. You should just want to know so you can pass it down to your other generations. It's a kind of a way you can stay connected to history, you know? Because it's not always just about us, right? What about future generations? They want everybody to just look clone now. Like, how are you passing down family generation through clones? You can't do it like that, bro. There's no reason really for that. Okay. Oh. It really, the way the system already was, there was really no use or reason for clones. People just be trying to squeeze in everybody money where they can get in. Like, oh, I want a piece of that. I don't think that has anything to do with the economy. That's just people being greedy at that point, you know?